Welcome to the Explainer. We walk past plants literally every single day. They're sitting on our desks, lining our streets, but what is actually going on inside a simple green leaf? Today, we're exploring exactly that. What is photosynthesis, and how do plants make their own food? We're going to look at the hidden machinery of nature, so let's get right into it. Section 1, the sunlight myth. Let's start off by busting a very common misconception about how plants actually sustain themselves. Okay, let's dive into this. Do plants actually eat sunlight? I mean, it sounds like a totally weird question at first, but think about how we usually talk about plants. We tell each other they drink water and get sunlit to grow. But do they actually consume sunlight the same way you or I might sit down and eat a giant, delicious plate of biryani? Well, the short answer is a resounding no. Light is not food. Light is pure energy. A plant absolutely does not swallow light as some physical substance to fill its stomach. Instead, you kind of need to think of sunlight as a power switch. It's the electricity that keeps the factory running. Without light, the plant is basically like a busy shop with the metal shutters pulled all the way down. The building is still there, sure, but the real work inside simply cannot begin. Section 2, the solar kitchen. To really grasp how this works, let's introduce our core framework for this explainer. Visualizing the plant as a highly organized, bustling, solar-powered kitchen. There is literally an exact parallel between a regular kitchen and a leaf. And when you think about it this way, everything just starts to click. Look at a regular kitchen. Your raw materials are things like flour, rice, or veggies, right? Well, in a plant, those raw materials are water and carbon dioxide. At home, your energy source is gas or electricity. For the plant, it's sunlight. And the final product? We get a nice cooked meal and the plant gets sugar. It's the exact same logic. You take ingredients and you process them. Now, we have to be pretty precise here. Plants do not create energy out of thin air. They transform it. Think about your phone charger for a second. That charger doesn't just magically create electricity from nothing, right? It just takes energy from the wall and transforms it into a form your phone's battery can actually store and use later. In the exact same way, the plant is simply intercepting sunlight and transforming that solar energy into a storable chemical form. Section 3, gathering the ingredients. So now that we've got our solar kitchen set up and powered on, let's see exactly where the plant sources its raw materials for this whole cooking process. To survive and keep this kitchen running, a plant has to actively and constantly pull its ingredients from exactly two distinct external environments. It's definitely not just sitting in an isolated bubble. And what's really amazing is how perfectly adapted the plant is for this specific job of gathering. It pulls water up from the soil through its roots, and it grabs carbon dioxide right out of the air through these tiny little openings in its leaves. This means the leaf isn't just some pretty green decoration. It's the ultimate workbench. Think about it. It's nice and broad to catch the light, it's thin so that light can penetrate deep inside, and it's porous to let gases in and out. It is the exact intersection where these two completely different environments meet, the captured sunlight. Section 4, rearranging the atoms. So we've got our ingredients, and we have our power. Let's dive into the actual internal mechanics of this cooking process to see what happens when that energy finally meets those raw materials. Here is the essential three-part rhythm of photosynthesis. Step 1. Capture the light. Step 2, convert that light into chemical energy. And step 3, use that chemical energy to build sugar. Now, keep in mind, this isn't just some passive one-off event. It is an active, continuous, and incredibly fast manufacturing cycle that is happening inside the leaf right now as we speak. Think about it this way. Photosynthesis is about rearranging atoms, not making something from nothing. It's kind of like building with a bucket of Lego bricks. The bricks, which in this case are the atoms inside the water and carbon dioxide, already exist in nature. The plant just uses the solar energy it captured to break those old chemical bonds apart and literally snaps the atoms back together into a brand new, highly useful shape. Once again, we're talking about construction here, not invention. So the crucial point is this distinction right here: sugar as fuel versus sugar as building material. Why does the plant go through all this crazy effort to build sugar? Well, because sugar is a super compact, stable form of chemical energy, but it serves a brilliantly dual purpose. It acts as immediate spending cash, energy the plant can burn right now just to survive, but it also serves as the literal physical bricks to build new stems, roots, and leaves. The food is quite literally what the plant itself is made out of. Section 5, a delicate balance. Up until now, we've looked at how perfectly this all works in theory.
Let's shift our focus to the real world for a second and see what happens when this perfectly coordinated kitchen hits a snag.
This whole process relies on a rapid-fire chain of events. Light arrives, the leaf captures it, energy gets converted, atoms are rearranged, and finally, sugar is built. Because this is a strict sequential chain, photosynthesis relies on incredibly precise timing and coordination. If any single one of these steps slows down or is missing a component, boom, the entire system is bottlenecked. The solar kitchen simply grinds to a halt. To ground this concept in reality, let's talk about the missing ingredient for farmers in Pakistan. Farmers growing crops like wheat or sugarcane understand this balance intimately. You can have a blazing hot summer day with intense sun, meaning there is plenty of energy for the solar kitchen. But if the vital ingredient of water is missing from the soil, the kitchen shuts down anyway. That is exactly why irrigation is so absolutely vital. You aren't just giving the plant a drink, you are supplying a mandatory raw material so the solar-powered assembly line doesn't stall out. Section 6, the hidden engine. We are nearing the end of our journey today. Let's zoom out for a grand finale to understand why this microscopic process inside a tiny leaf matters to absolutely everything on Earth. This quiet little engine has massive world-changing impacts. It does so much more than just keep a single plant alive. It stores energy in food chains, which means every single bite of food you eat ultimately traces back to this exact process. It supports all plant growth, creating the forests and habitats of the world. And as a pretty wonderful byproduct, it releases the oxygen that you and I breathe every single second. This microscopic process fundamentally powers life and ecosystems worldwide. So next time you walk outside and look at a simple green leaf, what are you going to see? Are you just going to see a passive, boring plant? Or will you see a bustling, incredibly precise, world-powering solar kitchen? I really hope this explainer has given you a brand new mental model and maybe a profound sense of awe for the hidden machinery of nature. Thank you so much for joining me to break this down. Keep that curiosity alive, and we will catch you in the next explainer.